In the late 1600s, Scotland was broke. A broke ass bitch. Desperate and determined to rise just like its neighbor, England. But today we are telling a story about one of Scotland's and just history's greatest fuck ups. And that is the story of the Darien Scheme and how and why Scotland is now part of the UK now and can't figure its way out. This is a big episode. It's going to give you a lot of clarity of like how Scotland got to where it is today. And you'll be quite surprised and probably irritated to find out how they ended up there. So let's get into the Darien Scheme. Hey y'all, welcome to Culture Cult. My name is Marie. I am the host of the show, and this is a show where we are trying to learn about every country in the world. And this season we are covering Scotland. It's a cousins episode today. We have on my cousin Julia and Emma, so it's gonna be a funny one. And Emma actually lived in Edinburgh for college. She went there for college. And so we're gonna talk a little bit about Edinburgh, do some fun facts, and then we're gonna get into that total fuck up, which is the Darien Scheme. So let's get into it. First of all, I want to say that I have struggled finding Scottish people to come on.
I don't know anyone.
Yeah, okay, great. I was like, Emma, can you plug me?
I knew everybody that I knew in Edinburgh was like English. Like it's just full of English people.
Oh God. Okay, that's not great. Okay, so maybe let's start with introduce yourself and say fun fact of this month.
Okay, well, this is not that fun, but I feel like I'm really empowered by it right now. I'm rewatching Game of Thrones for the first time since I first watched it when it was like 2017. I only watched it as a teenager because it was like the peak of it was like coming out with the big new seasons and stuff. I just wanted to fit in. I was not interested in it at all. I probably understood like 20% of what was actually happening in the show.
Same.
Now I'm rewatching it properly, and I was like, how did I miss out on this? It's amazing.
Really?
But now
it's the last season actually failed us.
Yeah, it does. I am aware of that. But like, it's just so frustrating because now I'm gonna be super into it, and everyone's gonna be like, well, like we had these talks like 5-7 years ago. Like I'm gonna be like, oh my God, like, this happened. They killed Ned Stark, and everyone's gonna be like, yeah, we know.
Everyone's gonna be like the Red Wedding.
Yeah, I can't wait for that episode because I did not understand the point of it at the time. I was like, damn, they killed everyone. Why?
Literally the whole cast.
Yeah. Can't wait to actually understand what the fuck the point of that was.
Okay, yeah, I was gonna say you could talk to Ollie, but we're not dating anymore. But he's watching Game of Thrones too, so you could text him.
Awesome. I'll give him a ring.
You have only my ex to talk about Game of Thrones with.
Perfect.
Well, that's awkward.
No, I might watch that. I'm kind of in like the silliest mood right now. I'm watching Girls 5 Eva, which is fucking hilarious.
Wow.
So it's another Tina Fey show and the creator of Kimmy Schmidt. So it's just a ridiculous show. It's so good.
By the way, I can't stand the trends right now of like shitty teenager shows. Like fucking, I was talking to Julia about The Summer I Turned Pretty. It's all over my feed. And it looks so fucking annoying. Like these two young people get engaged at age like 12 and like and then they're like, she's like, Jared, did you like kiss her? And then he's
Actually,
like,
Jared cheated twice, and then
Julia knows.
I don't give a shit about the show. It's driving me nuts. I keep seeing it everywhere on my Instagram, and I can't get rid of it.
Okay, let's talk about Scotland. Probably shouldn't do the accent.
And everybody has decided that I have a great Scottish accent, and I literally can't do it.
Well, you did a New Zealand accent one time, so
yeah, but that was the long gone. I'd practiced it a lot, and now like my mom and dad do this all the time. They're like, "Oh, Emma, it's so good. Do your Scottish accent," and I'm like, "What accent? I literally can't do it. I also can't do the accents. Like, I actually can't."
I'm gonna say I was obsessed with Braveheart when I was in high school to the point where I had a cape. I literally bought a cape and I ran around your house in Tennessee with a cape. Let me tell you. There's a video.
What's so crazy is I remember when you were obsessed with Braveheart because you told me the whole story, including the bit where he like dies at the end, and I was like, "What the is this movie?"
I remember watching Braveheart because Marie wanted to watch Braveheart. That's what I remember.
I had a huge Scotland phase, and I can't lie. From like the ages of like 15 to maybe 15, I could do the Scottish accent very well.
15 to 15.
And I was good at it. For that year, I was so good at it. Like I could say like only a couple things, but it was so good. But I was just listening to a Scottish podcast and they politely asked that no one does accents. They're like, don't do it. You can't do it.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I guess we can't. But they did say that Shrek is an accurate Scottish accent on the podcast I listened to. Okay, let's get into it. All right. So first of all, I want to talk about Edinburgh a little bit. And then I want to do some fun facts. And then we're going to get into our story about how Scotland absolutely fucked themselves. And okay, I only been to Edinburgh because Emma, you had an apartment there because you were at the University of Edinburgh. And then all of the cousins stayed with you except for Julia for some reason. And we all lived in the living room.
Because I was in college somewhere else and I couldn't have fun. So
yeah.
Don't care.
Emma, what was like your first impression of Edinburgh when you first got there? And then what was your impression when you left?
When I first got there, I love the aesthetic of it. It's so moody. It's just a really beautiful place to be. Like you can't not go outside and not enjoy it. It's just like I had a very superficial image of it, and I kind of only really saw it in the eyes of the university to some extent. And I think it is very much that. My feeling about it, the way when I left, is one that it has a bigger like underground community than it seems to have. Not underground maybe, but there's like a really strong artistic, I would say to some extent like rebellious community there that I really liked. I feel like people are really engaged in conversations there, and they are in London too, but it felt really like I felt like people in Scotland were way more active in it, like they were ready to go. And it's also a very queer city. Like we went to I went there a few months ago, and the Pride parade, to be fair, I haven't been to like any other one, but it was huge. Like I think it went on, like we were watching it from like one part of it, and it was like people marching, like a huge crowd of them for like 20 minutes. Like it just kept coming. We were like, oh my God, they're never gonna stop coming. There's so many of which I really liked about it. Like that was something I enjoyed discovering in my last few years, is like, I don't know, this kind of like artistic scene in Edinburgh. It seems a bit like superficial and just pretty and touristy.
Yeah, that's
otherwise.
kind of what I saw was like how gorgeous the city it is. And it's like so storybook. I don't think
Yeah.
I didn't see that like edgy artsy side of it. But also I was there during COVID, so that's why.
That's why I called it underground. It's probably not actually underground, but I just feel like you have to kind of go searching for it,
Yeah.
and then you'll have these like pockets of communities and stuff who are like I found it a lot. It was like in cafes and stuff. There was like lots of, I don't know, stand-up poetry thingies and stuff, and I don't know, like people who are really engaged in lots of conversation.
stuff like Fringe, like
It's different than French. I don't think I'm doing a
no,
good job.
I'm saying in addition to like the cool things that Edinburgh has, I think Fringe is really, really cool that they have, and like so many people come out of that. I loved Fringe and I would go back so many times.
Wait, who was the weird guy you all saw at Fringe? Was it the gorilla guy? Or no?
No, the mime. I had literally no clue what was going on. It was all like it was performed in this weird prose where he would take on different characters.
Rachel
And-
fell asleep during it.
There were like 4 people in the audience, and he would look at each of us individually if Rachel's fucking asleep, which must have been so insulting.
And then also he was like, Papa. Like he was like, Mama.
What?
I don't know. I just remember Emma and I having to like dig our nails into each other because we were trying so hard not to laugh. And it was like he was like Papa.
And also, yeah, and then he was dressed as like a mime. So he was like, yeah, he had like mime makeup on and stuff. And I just made no sense. I was desperately trying to follow the story, and I was like, I don't know. I really don't know.
Rachel's
Like-
asleep the whole time.
I would say that was our worst
Oh no
one.
no. The other really bad one was Friends the musical. So it was like,
that was that. But
"Ross, I love you." It was like,
Yeah. So like it definitely has an artsy, sometimes shitty comedy side to it.
I think is what's cool about it though, is like it's like the chance for everybody. Like I had a friend who like wrote and put on a show. I couldn't go see it. I think I wasn't there, but like it really is like I think a lot of artists come out of Fringe, like or a lot of like what we were talking about, Flight of the Conchords.
yeah, Flight of Concords was discovered there.
Yeah, like lots of people get discovered there because I think, not to my knowledge, and I think it is this, like anybody can get involved, anybody can perform something, and you're kind of like guaranteed to have some audience. So it's kind of special in that way, I think.
I like that because versus like places like New York or LA, I feel like there's no room to suck because the competition is so high.
Yeah.
But then like in Edinburgh, they're like, fuck it, come on. Like you can do a
Yeah, you can
Papa Mama
follow.
mime scene. Like we
Yeah.
can do
I
that.
think it's really unique because then, yeah, you do see a lot of like awful comedians. There's
I
so
love
many,
that.
just like people who I'm like, oh, no
Oh my
one's
God.
told you.
No one's told you. Oh, I actually like such a good person for those crowds because I'll laugh either way. Like I'll be the loudest
Yeah.
laugher. Like bring me. If you have a shitty comedy set, like I'm your girl.
I hate people like you. I have a friend like this as well who just like laughs at everything I say, and I'm like, I'm hilarious. And then I'm like, no, it's he laughs
It's
at everything.
just yeah. Okay, so another question I have because like you lived in London and obviously Edinburgh, which is kind of hinted that it has a lot of British people there. But did you notice a kind of a difference between Scottish people and British people?
Yeah, in general, Scottish, like I would say all the Scottish people I met are very like they really do like almost like Ireland's level, they see like a very big difference between English people and Scottish people. I don't think they want to be considered British. They
Yeah.
want to be Scottish. I think culture is really important to them. I think actually I find Scots like super funny, super friendly, very blunt, like very social. But yeah, also very like strong at the core.
Yeah.
I really like Scots. Yeah.
Yeah, I can get that sense too. And I mean, obviously the UK, I mean, England is super big and there's like a big difference between the south and north of
Yeah.
people. But like, I just didn't know if you saw a difference, like just from living
Yeah,
there.
there's definitely a difference, and they are different. I just don't think they want to be associated like with British. I think they really are of their own culture.
Did you pick up any cool slang while in Scotland?
Yeah,
Okay,
I
teach us.
think this is a northern one. Scran. Oh, they sometimes they'll end a sentence with like. This is like a very Scottish thing, but like not the way we use like. They'll be like, "Oh, who's going to the party like?"
Oh,
Like
I
it's like
love.
I was in a group chat once and there was a guy who would always end it with like, and I was like, what is this guy fucking talking about? And then but when you hear them say it, it almost like goes over your head because it's so well intertwined with the sentence. But yeah, I think that's Scottish. I had another friend who would do it as well. Like blah 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 like uh,
I love that so much.
yeah, wait, there's another
Like,
one that this also might not be. This might just be like a northern term. Oh, gaff.
oh, that's I know what that is. Crap, I know what that is. No,
Sure
my
that
friend from the north of England, she says gaff all the time.
it's like yeah, it's slang for a house or place of residence.
Yeah, the
It's so
gaff.
it's in Scotland, Ireland, parts of England and Wales. I never hear it in London. I only heard it in Edinburgh when people would be like,
Yeah.
"Oh, come to my gaff," or like what they would say if they're having a party, they'd say, "We're having a gaff."
I love
I'll be
that.
like, "Okay."
You ever go to Stirling or Glasgow?
Yeah, I did. I went to Glasgow a few times. I've been to Stirling briefly when I drove through it. Yeah, Glasgow is so sick. I think you'd love it. It's like bigger, but it also has, yeah, there's so much going on there. That's where all the concerts happen that come
Oh
to
shit.
Scotland. Yeah, I love Glasgow. I think it's so quirky. I think I was like really considering moving to Glasgow if I didn't move to London.
Yeah, I want to go to Glasgow. Like when I went to Edinburgh, I only hung out in Edinburgh, which was
I love it. I
oops.
think you
But
really
it was COVID. I couldn't help it. And we're
right.
actually gonna do a full episode of like just on Edinburgh, so we'll actually do that in another episode. But I want to get into like the fun facts of Scotland. Apparently, chicken tikka masala was invented in Glasgow in the 70s.
Yeah, I knew that. That's like the big joke is Indian food is like our national food, and it's like we kind of low key like just stole it and
Yeah.
reinvented. Like
That shit's good though.
I say, yeah.
And then Scotland apparently has the most castles per square mile than any other country in the world.
I love that though.
Damn.
Oh, why? I was like, wait, really? That is wild.
I'm not surprised actually.
That's
Dude,
so
I
sick.
would love to live in a castle.
Really?
Yeah, they're so pretty. You could have such beautiful, like, you could have so many farm animals.
Wow. I feel like I'm looking at different castles. I'm like, how many people were murdered there? Was kept in the
Okay, I'm not talking
dungeon?
about those castles. I'm talking about like castles, more like familial home castles.
Okay, so a home that looks like a castle, not a real town.
Amanda.
Yeah. I'm not talking about like, oh, this is where 1,000 men died and got their
Yeah.
heads chopped off and their heads were on like the wall. Yeah, I wouldn't want to live there. That's haunted as fuck. We
Yeah.
would be calling, what's his name?
Yes, Jamie.
Jamie. Yeah, we would be calling Jamie and being like, Jamie, I need you, my man.
Yeah, we interviewed a Scottish ghost hunter, Emmy. I called you Emmy. Oh my God, Emma. Okay, this is probably, I don't know if y'all know this, but the highest portion of redheads also live in Scotland. So they have the most castles and the most redheads. So if that's your type, that's where you should go.
Stephen would hate living in Scotland.
Who?
Stephen.
Oh yeah, my dad has this horrible vendetta against redheads. He just hates them. Like,
That's weird.
He's like absolutely
all ugly.
They're not. Okay, here's the thing with redheads.
He sees a redhead on the street and he's like diabolical.
Oh
the
my
most ugly person in the universe. The redhead. I'm like,
I would be very terrified of Stephen back in like the 1600s. Like, you know, he would have put out like a war against redheads.
Yeah, he would have.
Even now, I'm scared.
No, here's the thing with redheads, and here's my theory on that, is like there's no in between. They're either super hot or they're not. Like, there's not really an in between with them.
Have you found a hot redhead yet?
Yes, I have. Oh,
sorry.
I dated a hot redhead, so I can claim that that has happened before.
Okay.
That's
I don't
so,
think I found anyone that I find is. Haven't found a hot redhead.
That's what I'm saying. They go either or. There's not really much of an in between.
But I'm sure you would find a hot red, like Jamie from Outlander.
Hot.
He's a redhead. He's hot.
Yeah.
Like, stunning.
But the Scottish accent adds a lot of sex appeal. So that gives people like at least an extra 5 points, I think.
And they're like mountain men. They're like, I'm going to bring in a tree and cut it and it's going to be hot. And
wow. That's what Julia wants.
Wait, can we bring the fact that I was right about the Loch Ness Monster?
Yes.
Babe, you spelled Loch Ness Monster LOCCKNES.
Okay, you knew what I meant. We're not talking about my spelling. We're talking about the fact that I was shut down in the last episode by everyone and I was more correct.
Yeah, no, Julia's right. The Loch Ness Monster is actually just a whale's penis.
Wait, sorry, what? Sorry.
Look. Yeah, she's not informed.
What are we talking about?
The Loch Ness Monster. Marie was like, do you believe in the Loch Ness Monster? And I was like, actually, people have kind of suspected that the Loch Ness Monster is a whale. And then everyone was like, whales don't live in lakes. And I was like, oh, I guess not then. Maybe that's wrong. So I didn't go further in it. And then I sent Marie a text being like, this is what I was talking about. And I showed her the photo and she goes, oh no, you might be right.
There's an article about it.
I thought the Loch Ness Monster was literally just like, it was like at the time everyone was trying to make money off of like Bigfoot or whatever. And so someone just like put something in the water and was like, monster, sea monster.
That's what the water horse made it believe.
Oh my God, water horse again. Every episode, water horse is going to come up.
Loves the water horse.
I'm making Marie watch it when she comes to New York. It's going to be so beautiful.
The water horse.
I
Okay.
absolutely love the water horse, though.
Yes. So y'all fight amongst yourselves. Does the water horse exist? Does the Loch Ness Monster exist? Or is it a whale's dick? But we can agree that redheads can be hot sometimes. Yeah. They do have the highest amount of redheads in Scotland. Okay, another little cool fact. Scotland's national animal and the coat of arms
unicorn.
Is a freaking unicorn.
Yeah.
So
it's so metal. I love it.
Yeah, because I looked it up. Why the unicorn? It's because it's the natural enemy of a lion, which is England's coat of arms.
Oh.
Okay. So this is the next cool fact. Is actually has to do with something with our story. So the Romans never managed to conquer Scotland. Do y'all know why?
Because the Highlanders were too strong.
Yes, that is a great answer. That is part of it. It's because they were strong men, but also the rugged highlands, deep glens, and dense forests made moving armies and building infrastructure and even farming totally impossible. So on top of the fact that like the Highlanders were super intense and scary and the land was not even farmable, it was just not worth it for the Romans. They actually stopped around Scotland. They were like, never mind, we'll just go back and fight different wars. But what's cool, speaking of Game of Thrones, as you probably know this, The wall in Game of Thrones is based off Hadrian's Wall, and the wildlings are based off the Caledonians, which were the Highlanders back then, and the Romans saw them as wild, unruly, and unconquerable.
That makes sense because I think the guy who leads like the clan, he's like super Scottish, I feel like.
No,
Yeah.
I thought all the wildings in Game of Thrones were Scottish.
Yeah, you're right. Is based off Scotland. So like that whole vibe is like the Highlands and that really pretty girl that has red hair. See? Hot redhead.
Yeah, and she's married to Jon Snow.
In real life?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's Game of Thrones is the Hadrian's Wall, and the wildlings are based off Scotland, which is super sick. And okay. So those were, oh wait, one more fun fact. I forgot. Actually, one of the UFO capital of the world is in Scotland.
Oh.
What does that mean? Like the biggest like believers in UFOs?
Yeah, like the ones that the most sightings. And this is over.
Love it there.
So it's actually a sleepy little town called Bonny Bridge. Every year, residents of the town claim to see over 300 UFOs in the sky above them. I don't know if it's like
They just don't know what planes are.
no.
Just
Every day they're like another one.
I don't know about that.
Oh, okay. Are you like the UFO expert suddenly?
They were genuinely seeing that many UFOs. Then they would
It's my hair clip.
call NASA. Like, get them over there. There can't be that many just all the time.
Emma, that is my hair clip.
Oh, is it?
Exposed.
You took it. I knew I was
Right
missing one. I haven't been able to find it.
You actually did leave it, and I thought I would keep it for safekeeping.
Mm.
Instead of dogs eating it.
That's nice.
Wow. At least we found out that Emma's a thief.
Emma's always been a thief. Every time she comes home, and she leaves, my mom goes, "Oh, I'm out of socks again."
I never buy socks. I only steal them. I steal Jeff's socks. I steal Def's socks. I steal everybody's socks.
Socks, like they just disappear. It makes sense why you need to steal them.
Well, they disappear.
I steal them.
The sock stealer.
Emma's literally a sock troll.
Yeah, I am a sock troll.
That's a really weird thing that I have to watch out for now.
If you have a matching pair of socks, they will be gone.
I have to be really selective whenever I'm around Emma. She's like, can I borrow your socks? I'm like, here are the socks I brought specifically for you because I know I don't like them anymore.
Julia's the only one who holds me accountable. She's like, give them back immediately. And I'm like,
because I know I want them back because I buy my socks. It's a hard time.
Well, I'm your arch enemy on this because none of my socks match, so I'm not a threat. You're not a threat for me.
That's actually horrible. That ruins my Emma, put your feet down.
Mine don't match. That's why I have to steal them.
Because I lose them so many times, I have to go and mix and match because where the fuck did the originals go?
I think the rest of the world throws them in the drawer and lets fate do the work.
Yeah. Okay, well, let's get into our actual story. First of all, I want everyone on this Zoom call to thank my friend Laura. She wrote the story.
Thanks,
Everyone say
Laura.
thank you. Didn't hear you, Julia. Say it louder.
Thank you, Laura.
Okay. So this story, I was so glad I found this because this story makes so much sense to today, like what Scotland's situation is with today. And it's all because Scotland had a major fuck up in the 600s. No, sorry, 1600s. Okay. So this is Scotland's biggest epic failure. It's called the Darien Scheme. Have y'all heard of it?
No.
Wow. Okay, because it's like so important to today's like what happens today. So I'm very mind blown by that. Okay, so picture this. It's the late 1600s, and Scotland at this point in time in history is basically that friend who's always broke and abused by their neighbor, England. Most of the Scotland series is me hate on England. I just want to say that I personally love my British friends, and this is not directed to you.
I think that kind of is. I think they are the asshole in the situation, though. I think
they
that's
are.
I mean,
They are.
yeah.
Yeah. So and again, Scotland at this time period is just that broke neighbor that's always abused by England. And over the past centuries, England has just like rampaged them over and over and over. And now they're just broke. But at this point, they're now watching their neighbor England live their best life with colonies, trade routes, tea, scones, most importantly, wealth England is getting extremely powerful and wealthy, and Scotland is destitute at this time. And they're like, well, fuck, like, I want that. So buckle up, because this story is about to be the epitome of a get rich scheme, MLM style 1600s for Scotland. So let's set the scene. Scotland was going through it. They were down bad. They had been hit by what's called the Little Ice Age, which sounds cute, but it was actually incredibly devastating to Scotland. This was a time that brought so much bad weather that meant failed harvests, that meant famine, and people were starving to death in the streets. This is a double whammy for Scotland, because I don't know if you know this, but 94% of Scotland's land is completely empty.
I'm pretty sure it has like everywhere else in England is like all the like landscape is pretty much man-made. Like all the natural stuff is actually been like there's tons of forests and stuff, but like yeah, I think Scotland has the most natural terrain left.
Yeah. Yeah. What's interesting, Scotland currently has a population of 5.5 million, but 70% of the people live in areas between Glasgow, Stirling, and Edinburgh. So they're all in the south. So why is that? A couple reasons. Again, England being the asshole they were/are, pushed all the people in the 1800s from the Highlands and displaced them to make room to do sheep farming. So they displaced everyone from the Highlands back then and made them move. Also, in general, the land up north is extremely hard to farm. This is literally before the Little Ice Age. So now that the land is already hard to farm, plus the Ice Age, Scotland was destitute. They were in a serious situation. Meanwhile, again, they're looking at their neighbor England, who is counting money in their coins from all their fancy colonial ventures. And Scotland was like, wait, why don't we do that? Let's become colonizers. Which is a bit wild, because they've been colonized by England for like thousands of years. And the fact that they want to do it is kind of interesting. So here comes our main character. His name's William Patterson. This guy was a big deal. He literally co-founded the Bank of England, which is around today, which is pretty crazy. But he kind of sucks. Like, don't get excited about him. He was involved in the slave trading.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh,
You know him personally?
no, I think I understand where this story is going, because Scotland did have like a brief slave trade, didn't they?
This isn't about the slave trade, but they probably got
Oh.
involved in that because they were like, oh, we want money. But yeah, he's the co-founder of the Bank of England, which you can go to today.
Does it still serve money and stuff, or is it just like a museum? Emma?
I use it for bank.
ChatGPT, let's go.
Yeah, tell us your bank information right now.
Yeah, it's like I think
It
it's like
is.
a bank.
You can go and take out a loan today with the Bank of England. This is actually brought to you by Bank of England.
That's lasted so long then.
Yeah. There's also a Bank of England in Birmingham, Alabama. You are welcome to go there too, if you would
Is
like.
it the same one? Or
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So
it really expanded.
yeah, they did expand all the way to Alabama.
But only Alabama. They only wanted Birmingham.
Oh, Birmingham, England. Makes sense.
Well, I know, yeah. They were
Okay.
like, okay, this one's fine.
So again, William Patterson, he's our main character. He co-founded the Bank of England. He's also a slave trader. So you're going to like literally hate this guy by the end of the story. So Patterson, was in a pub one night. It's probably raining. Little candles are around. It's cozy. And he was chatting with a sailor who told him all about this magical place. It's called the Darien Peninsula. And Laura, my writer, she pretty much wrote that this was probably like him telling him about an MLM, that he was telling him about this scheme, like, hey, like there's this place on the paradise in the tropical islands. It's beautiful there. It's not colonized. And so this is making his brain think, oh my gosh, wait, it's not colonized at all. And what he's talking about is modern day Panama, which didn't you go to Panama?
No.
Julia, yeah, you went.
It's very hot, but I love it. But it's just like, it looks normal. It just has it's hot and there's a lot more birds and like nature, I would say. We went to our family's beach house and like, it was stunning. Just the beach was beautiful. I feel like it's very quiet though. I didn't see as many crowds, but maybe that's when the time I went. It was hot. And I think I could be wrong. So sorry if I am, but I think she talked about how most high-rise buildings are like empty and they're just built, but then they're kind of just empty and sitting there.
Weird.
So, yeah.
Okay.
The government in Panama is really bad.
Okay. That's interesting. Well, this sailor was talking to Patterson. He was like pretty much saying what Joy was saying. Like, it's gorgeous, it's hot, it's amazing, but no one's ever colonized it. And he's like, okay, cool. And then so Patterson was like, say no more. I got the plan. So here is where it gets wild. Patterson's big brain idea was to set up a colony right on the narrow bit of Central America, also known as what we now know today as the Panama Canal.
Mm.
His logic was actually makes a lot of sense. Instead of ships at this point were having to sail all around the bottom of South America to get to Asia, which was super long, super dangerous, and very expensive. So Patterson was like, wait, why don't we just unload the cargo on one side of Panama, transport it over land, and then just reload it on ships on the other side, and let's make bank. He called it the doors of the seas, the keys to the universe. In theory, this is super smart. This is how like Scotland was going to become one of the wealthiest countries in the world. I mean, you're cutting the trade route from doing like having to ship around and under South America to just go through Panama, which is brilliant. I'm sure you're wondering like, okay, why had no one done it before? Like, hadn't even England done this? And it's for a reason. But before Scotland could get their colonial dreams off the ground, they had to deal with the biggest corporate bully in history, the English East India Company.
Oh,
Yeah, these are the big bad boys. Which I think they're like in not Harry Potter, the Pirates of the Caribbean, or maybe that was the Dutch East.
no, I'm pretty sure that is in the Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yeah, it was like the bad guys in that one. The East India Company had been founded in 1600 with the royal charter from Queen Elizabeth I. This gave them a complete monopoly on English trade with all countries east of the Cape Good of Hope, which is South Africa, and west of the Straits of Magellan. No idea where that is. Basically, they owned all the trade of Asia, India, and beyond. So literally the world. And by 1690, this company had by far been the largest corporation of its kind. Probably like Amazon would be a great example of this. Like they have the trading of the entire world, but this is so different. This is as if the Queen of England backed Amazon and gave them an army, like gave Jeff Bezos an army. We're talking about a company that was so powerful, had its own army of 200,000 soldiers. It had its own navy with armed ships, which is what we saw in Pirates of the Caribbean, really. And yeah, that's like if Jeff Bezos had like royal backing and was given an army and a navy, which is pretty fucking terrifying. That's how big this company is. So this isn't just a business. It's basically a corporate empire that ruled huge chunks of the world. Guess who did not love the plan of this little Darien colonization? The East India Company was not about this little startup that Scotland wanted to start. It was going to cut into their lucrative trade monopoly. To them, this wasn't just competition, but a massive threat because they would have the quickest route to trade if they could figure this out. But when Patterson pitched the idea of the Darien Scheme through his company, okay, this is a long company name. His company is called Company of Scotland Trading to Africa and the Indies. So he has to say that every time. So either way, they didn't care about the long business name. The Scots were fucking excited. Like everyone was like, we love the Company of Scotland Trading to Africa and the Indies. And so let me tell you about this Company of Scotland Trading to Africa and the Indies and what was supposed to be like. Ideally, well, on June 26, 1695, the Scottish Parliament passed an act for a company trading to Africa and the Indies that gave this new company absolute insane privileges. We're talking about a monopoly of all Scottish trade to India, Africa, and the Americas, plus extraordinary sovereign rights and 21 years of tax exemptions.
Good.
So, like, the Scottish Parliament and government are like, fuck yeah, this is our ticket. We'll give you tax exemptions, sovereign rights, and you get to monopolize the entire trade industry. This is Scotland's answer to the England's East India Company. This is their little startup, if you think about it. So the original plan was to raise 600,000 euros back in 1695. Anyone want to guess how much that is in today's money?
3 million.
3?
I'm going to go with 1 to 2 million or 2 million.
Okay. They raised over $10 million. Yeah. Now, where did they get this money from? Half of it was from London investors and half was from Scottish investors. But then the London investors bailed out because the East Indian Company were like, we're going to fuck you up if you try to invest in that company. And Scotland was like, fine, hold my scotch. We're going to do this ourselves. And they did. They did it themselves. They started like in a subscription base. Like this is literally, y'all, this is like a startup in today's time. Like they were like from the ground up, startup, Silicon Valley style.
What's it called? Shark Tank.
Yeah, like Shark Tank. So there was a subscription for anyone to give money, opened up in Edinburgh in February 26, 1696. The response was crazy. On the first day alone, 69 subscriptions were taken worth 50 grand. People were literally lining up to throw money at this company because they believed it would make them rich. By August 1696, they had raised the full $400,000 target, which was approximately half of all available capital in Scotland at the time. So this country that was basically on the brink of poverty forked up this money. And it's not just like investors, y'all. People from like small towns were giving up everything they had into this company.
Just to make themselves wealthy.
Yeah. To like create this trading route essentially through Panama.
Yeah.
So they gave up half the capital of the country based on this. I mean, this is extremely personal. There is so much weighted on this. Like everyone's lives is pretty much based on this.
I mean, yeah, they're already poor and they're putting all their money into it.
Yeah. You have like $100 and you give your own country and these like investors, you give them like 50%. What the fuck? So to put this in perspective, this would be like the US today investing about $12 trillion into a single business venture and every single tiny town in America pitching in for that. So the English were still not having it. The East India Company was like, absolutely not. We're not going to share our profitable trade routes with you peasants. They basically bullied English investors into pulling out and threatened to cut ties. And they actually made it illegal for anyone to invest into Scotland, into this venture. But they were like, it's fine. We got it. Now Scotland had to figure out what the hell to actually do with all this money and enthusiasm. And this is where things start to go sideways. First, there was the whole like, what should we kind of trade in debate. The original plan was to compete with the East India Company in Africa and Asia. But then Patterson steps in with the grand Darien vision and convinces the directors to forget about the old boring spice trade. Instead, let's just establish a colony right there and control all the trade. And that's what they decided to do instead. Instead of just transporting all of it, they're going to create a colony and probably tax anything that comes in and out of it. The problem was the board of directors was completely split here in Edinburgh and the people in London, and they kept fighting about everything. Some wanted to stick with the original plan. Some were obsessed with this new tropical colonization fantasy. This is when it became a logistical nightmare. Since King William of England and Scotland basically banned English ships and sailors from helping the Scottish, the Scots had to get creative. So they couldn't build the ships anywhere in the UK. They were forced to order 5 ships to be built in Hamburg and Amsterdam. That's not super convenient for them either. But this is where the financial mismanagement really kicks into high gear. Patterson was sent to Hamburg to pay for the ships and manage the money. Instead of handling it himself, he deposited 17,000 euros with some sketchy ass merchant friend named James Smith in London. Plot twist, Smith was actually a con artist with massive debts who just took the money and fled to Hamburg. So now he only recovered about 9,000 euros of it. And people got pissed for Patterson trusting this con artist. So they stripped him of his official position and told him like, okay, cool. You can come on the expedition, but only as a volunteer with no authority. So the guy who came up with the entire plan was now basically demoted to some dude just along for the ride.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Make
so,
one mistake.
I'd be pissed.
But to be fair, like, I'm not saying I would do that, but he did trust someone and just willingly put this, instead of trying to do it the correct way, he just gave it to someone.
Why did you need a third guy? Like, just go get the ship, go pay for the ship. Why did you give the money to a third
Do
guy?
it yourself. It's always safer to do it yourself.
Come on, like what James Smith? It's like the most common name ever. He put it's like, yeah, James Smith.
Like his name might be James Joe, but that's still a popular name today. Like that's the most basic ass name.
Yeah.
Sorry, for any James Smith out there. So meanwhile, the company Patterson started was hemorrhaging money on the most absolutely ridiculous purchases. They bought one ship called the Rising Sun for 15,000 euros, which cost as much as England's most expensive merchant ship of the entire 17th century. For comparison, the East India Company typically spent around 1,500 for a ship.
Oh my God.
They spent 15,000 euros on one ship.
Bruh.
Yeah. Laura wrote, Scotland was out here buying Ferraris when they needed Honda Civics.
Yeah.
So true.
I feel like what's happening here is like they're just getting such a high because they know they have a one up on England. So that they're like, we want to do everything better. Like we want to make sure we have the best ships and the best this. When really like the reason why England was probably so successful is because they were good at budgeting.
I think it's also when people think they have all the money in the world to do a plan or something, the plan might be great, but like once they start getting like, I want to beat them, let's have better everything. It's like, well, maybe you should start the business first and like make more money and make the money, and then you can have better everything.
Literally, this just comes down to personal finance, basic 101 personal finance.
And ego. Like that's
ego.
It's a bit egotistical to be like, well, we have this great plan that they're clearly afraid of. Let's just be better. And it's like, no. Calm down.
Spend 15 times the amount on one ship that they spend on.
Also, like, was the ship actually better though? Or was it like the same?
It just says, I don't know. It says it's just the most expensive ship that they bought. So
ship crash.
This is just a good lesson for everyone to budget. Let's start budgeting, guys. Learn about budgeting.
They probably didn't have they don't know how to like deal with this kind of strategy to some extent because they're so blocked off from these kinds of companies and stuff. And I'm not saying like it's obviously a terrible business to be involved in, but like I guess they felt like that was the only way they could kind of save themselves at the time.
Yeah.
I guess it's also that they're just not used to having money. So they don't know how to budget.
Yeah,
it's like people who just get their like first paycheck, they kind of spend it all sometimes.
Yeah, like people who win the lottery and they go buy like the Ferrari, but then they end up in a fucking mobile home like 20 years later because they went broke. That's pretty much Scotland like won the lottery and like blew it all on like
Ferrari.
Ferrari. Okay, so let's learn how to budget, guys. And in July 1698, 5 ships set sail with 1,200 brave or foolish Scottish settlers. The ship names alone will tell you how optimistic they were. Of course, the first one's named the Unicorn. Let's go. The St. Andrew, the Caledonia, the Endeavor, and the Dolphin.
What's with the Dolphin?
I know.
I don't get that one.
I would be kind of bummed to be on that one.
Your hair coming out of the hat.
Wait, which boat would y'all want to be on?
The Unicorn. Seems lucky.
Wait, Unicorn,
St. Andrew, Caledonia, the Endeavor, or the Dolphin?
But maybe the Unicorn. That's probably the best one. I'd be so pissed. I'm like, no, I don't want to be the unicorn. No, sorry, I don't want to be the Dolphin one. I want to be the Unicorn one.
But everyone wants to be on the Unicorn.
Yeah, but like even if you got put on the ships in between, it would be like fine because the ships in between are cool. Like if you get put on the Dolphin one, you're clear. Like I'm sure the main guy who got. They're like, you can be there, but you made the plan, but now you get nothing because you got.
Yeah, Patterson's probably put on the Dolphin. Let's be honest.
I feel like the Endeavor is like the hipster kids who are like reading and stuff.
Yeah, that sounds a serious boat.
It's like the jocks who are like working out all the time.
Yeah, St. Andrew's religious.
St. Andrew, they're all just praying.
Yes, they're praying for safety. I'll probably go on the Unicorn, but my second bet is the Caledonia because like I feel like that's the most hype. It sounds like, like a lot of hype men where they're like, let's fucking go.
Yeah, that's what I said. They're like jocks.
Yeah, I'm fine with that for like a little bit, like 3-month trip, maybe.
3-month trip? That's easy.
I want to be on a 3-month trip with a bunch of jocks. I feel like that.
I don't want to be on the St. Andrew. No.
I wouldn't want to be on the St. Andrew if we're saying
that sounds annoying as hell.
And I wouldn't be on the Dolphin because I'm sure it's
no alcohol on that boat.
Dolphin.
Yeah,
what the fuck is going on the Dolphin? What are they doing?
I feel like I'm just like imagining a bunch of like idiots, just like proper dorks.
I feel like going the wrong direction for when I see out. They're like, no, the Dolphin, come on.
Yeah. They like accidentally like break shit, like sink the boat.
Yeah, the Dolphin didn't survive.
Oh my god. You know what the Dolphin is? It's the fucking cruise ship. Wait, fuck. What was the one we talked about?
Yeah, the Oceanus, yeah.
Yes, the Dolphin is the Oceanus and Patterson is totally Captain Giannis from the Oceanus.
100%.
Let's be fucking real. Wow, a lot of themes here. Okay, well, we're all going to try our best to get on the Unicorn, and if not, let's not get on the Dolphin. But
yeah, I think the Endeavor or the
I'm not the Endeavor is way too hipster for me. I just feel like everyone's like, what do you mean you
what is the
know Shakespeare?
The Caledonia?
I'm getting on the Caledonia. You know what? I'll work out with these guys all for 3 months and be
Oh,
strong
you're
as
just gonna
hell.
show up ripped.
Come up ripped.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's some more red flags besides the fact that they named their boat the Dolphin. Let me tell you what they packed for this tropical colonial adventure. Where they're going, they brought 85 ceremonial wigs because apparently you can't colonize Central America with bad hair, 2,000 hats, over 1,300 pairs of slippers, not socks, otherwise Emma would freak out, and
I would have on that boat.
and hundreds of combs and mirrors to trade with the natives. And of course, they brought woolen clothes. They brought wool clothes for a tropical climate. This is how out of touch they are. I don't think they've experienced that they don't know what that means really.
Mm.
They live in Scotland. They probably never travel.
They probably don't even have any tropical clothes.
Yeah. But still
No.
wool.
Yeah.
So mind you, I'm just thinking on my end, the Scottish people don't see the sun a lot. And these are pale, redheaded lords with freckled, fair skin. And they're all headed to the equator. And I know they have no sunscreen. And they're all wearing wool. And they have wigs and lots of slippers. Slippers to go to the jungle. Like,
The
these guys
wigs
are-
is actually really funny.
but they were like pretty much planning like a dinner party. Like that's how they're dressed. They're dressed for a dinner party. They're not dressed to go to the middle of the jungle to the equator. The lack of weapons, the lack of proper supplies should have been a massive warning sign. But apparently everyone was too excited about their get rich quick scheme to think practically. Another classic tragedy of men blinded by money and fame. I really do think a lot of this has come down to ego, but that's just me. Again, the English were not having it. The powerful directors of the East India Company, fearing that their monopoly would be broken and their business ruined, turned to King William in the English Parliament against this venture. They basically bullied all English investors to pull out and threatened to embargo anyone who traded with the Scots. So now, like, anyone and everyone's out of this that's English. They've lost a lot of money with this, and it's now illegal again to invest or even join this company if you're English. So let's talk about where they're headed. They're headed. Do y'all know anything about the Darien Passage?
Like the Panama Canal.
Well, that's not exactly where they're headed. They're headed to the Darien Passage, which is very famous if you know about it.
Oh.
Okay.
Is it in Panama?
It's in Panama. I think it's between Panama and Colombia.
I know about the Panama Canal because we went and visited, but I don't know about the Darien Island.
Yeah, you wouldn't visit there. You would not visit there. So let's talk about where they're headed. They're headed to what is still known today as one of the most unsurvivable, dangerous places on Earth. And all they brought were hats, wigs, and slippers. The Darien Gap is where the Scots are headed and is one of the most infamous stretches of land on Earth, 100 miles of swamp, rainforest, mountains, and it's between the border of Panama and Colombia if you want to look on a map. Its only missing link is the Pan-American Highway, and it remains the most dangerous place today because it's a mix of a couple things. Let's talk about the natural environment. Extremely dense jungle. The rainforest is so thick, it can take hours to move a mile. Of course, back then there's no roads or trails, but even today there's no roads and trails. There's swamps and rivers. Vast wetlands flood during the rainy season, making travel slow and dangerous. The wildlife, the area is home to venomous snakes, jaguars, insects carrying malaria, dengue, and disease-bearing parasites. The combination of extreme humidity and heavy rainfall and tropical heat makes it easy to get sick, dehydrated, or very, very lost. Today, the Gap has become a stronghold for smugglers, drug traffickers, and armed groups. Colombian guerrilla groups like FARC in the past and various cartels have operated there. Today, this is like where most migrants have to go through to get through Mexico or America. They have to cross the Darien Passage.
There's so many who get taken through there.
Yeah. People are extremely vulnerable to robbery, assault, and kidnapping, along with the elements. Like if someone gets past the Darien Passage and they make it to Mexico or Guatemala or America, like they are strong as fuck to have gone to if they're crossing from South America. People lose so many loved ones trying to get here. And so in more recent years, the Darien Gap has become a major route, again, for migrants from South America, the Caribbean, Africa, and Asia, trying to get to North America. Thousands attempt the crossing every month, often facing extortion from guides, coyotes, starvation, and exposure. So a lot of people pay to help them get across, but then they get conned. And then they'll get sold to a group that like rapes, robs them, and kills them. So this is now the world's deadliest migration routes. Even today, roads do not exist there. Engineering is nearly impossible due to the swampy terrain and heavy rainfall. And the region is one of the most biodiverse ecosystems on Earth. A road would devastate it. So, like, these guys are trying to move cargo from one side to the other. And even today, we can't even build roads there with today's modern technology. And these
Yes.
Scots who have brought wigs, hats, and slippers want to build a route through this thing. Oh, they are fucked. They are fucked. But this is where they're headed. So
Could they not do research, or is it just
how
because
would
like
you know?
British like were keeping every information from them?
Listen, the only reason they started this all is because Patterson went to the pub and talked to a sailor, and the sailor was like, "This place is the shit. It's hot. It's beautiful. It's amazing." That's the only fucking information they're going off of is some sailor in a pub that was like, "Oh, it's beautiful there." And then Patterson was like, "Wait, what? Let me look into this." And he's like, "Oh, look at that. Let's go there." That's crazy.
Bro.
The sailor, he probably was like, "Dude, I was so drunk. Like, you
Yeah,
should
he's like,
not."
I don't even know what that is.
He's like, "I did not mean this to happen. You should not have
Yeah.
taken me seriously."
Oh my God. Imagine he's like sitting, like hearing about this whole project and he's like, whoopsie.
Like, I was 16 beers deep. Like,
Yeah, he's like, he probably met like a completely different place in the world. And he was like,
bro, I'm in Jamaica. I would feel so guilty because I'm a big talker. I could see this happening to me. I'm like, yo, I went to this place and it was awesome. And then all this shit happens from it. So they land in November 1698, and immediately things start going wrong and very, very sideways. First, the location they picked was absolute garbage. Patterson described it himself as, quote, neither fit to be fortified, nor planted, nor indeed for men to lie upon. This is what he was realizing as they first land there. They try to move to a better spot and they build Fort St. Andrew in a settlement called New Edinburgh. Shout out. But surprise, surprise, the tropical paradise was actually a mosquito infested hellhole. Disease swept through the colony like wildfire, malaria, yellow fever, you name it. People were dropping like flies. And remember those friendly natives who were like going to be super excited about combs and mirrors? They turned out to be the Kuna people. They looked at these like white wigged Scottish fucks and were like, ah, we're good. Good luck.
nothing.
We don't need a comb. Y'all need water.
Uh,
So the Scots couldn't grow their own food because, shocker, Scottish farming techniques don't work in tropical jungles. As you can see, things are going horribly. From spring 1699, over 200 colonists have died, and people were dying at the rate of 10 people per day. 10 people per day. They were surviving on less than a pound of moldy flour per week. And one survivor described having to skim maggots and worms off the top before eating it.
Ew.
Yeah. Sorry, this reminds me. This is a little story, but like my ex Ricardo from like a long time ago, he had this friend that was like comically drunk all the time. And he told me one time he was so shit faced. Okay, this is disgusting. Okay.
I have a similar.
Okay.
Okay.
No, this, I don't know how you can top this. He said he was eating this chicken and he ate all of it. And then he was going to go for like the last bite and he realized it was full of maggots. He ate maggot chicken.
No, listen to this. I met this hotel guy who was like, he worked for like an extremely luxury hotel, and we were like at this big thing, and he starts telling a story. And he, by the way, when I first met him, he seemed like super chill and quiet. And he told me about a time that he got super, super drunk. I think he was in Barcelona, went swimming, really, really drunk, found a shrimp in the ocean, ate the shrimp raw.
What the fuck?
And then he said, I almost died. I got food poisoning so bad I was in the hospital.
He ate a
And I
shrimp
was
raw
like,
shrimp.
and then I was like, oh my God. And he was like, you have no idea how bad it was. It was the worst time of my life. And he goes, I do it again. Best night of my life though. And I was like,
What?
yay, good for you.
He just ate a raw shrimp.
Really just pulled a shrimp out of the ocean and ate it like straight up.
Okay, but
That-
like, sorry, maggot chicken is disgusing though.
Yeah, maggot chicken is like, that makes me sick.
Yeah, he ate. Imagine like your last bite. That's when you realize you've been eating. Also, like, what the fuck? Like, why is that in your kitchen? How disgusting do you live?
How is your kitchen so badly kept? That's awful.
Yeah, but that's how drunk he was. Like, he used to like fall asleep in Ricardo's room and piss on the floor.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and then every time we threw a party, he would be asleep on the grass outside. Like, he was so funny. I thought it was funny. Okay. So to make matters worse, getting back to our story, the Spanish who technically claimed this area, even though again, this is not their land, They were not happy about these uninvited Scottish guests. So they did what any sane person would do, and they captured one of the Scottish ships and imprisoned the entire crew. Maybe it probably was a dolphin.
Yeah, probably was a dolphin.
The king, then King William, remember he was the king of both England and Scotland, ordered all English colonies to refuse trade with the Scots. So now Scotland, even the mainland, were completely cut off from supplies and support. Like, this is going downhill so bad. The surviving colonists were like, nope, we're out, and abandoned this settlement. Of the 4 ships that tried to sail back to Scotland, only one made it home with fewer than 300 survivors.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
What happened
Yeah.
to the other ones?
They all just probably didn't make it back because they didn't have enough
So do you
supplies.
think
Oh, yeah.
the unicorn, or was it the Caledonia? Do you
Low
think-
key, I feel like it's like the Endeavors. I feel like the smart hipsters were the ones that made it back. They're like,
Yeah, DFO.
let's be
Right.
honest.
like I feel like the first to die were the St. Andrew ship.
The Catholics.
I have a great feeling.
Okay, yeah, I feel like the unicorn were probably the first though because they were so excited.
Maybe.
Didn't bring enough
Well,
supplies.
what happened to the dolphin? They're just stupid. They probably sunk their ship trying
Listen,
to get onto the island.
I think the dolphin was still being kidnapped by Spain at this point.
Yeah.
Wait, what if we were all wrong and the dolphin was the survivor and we're all making
I want to know. I want to know if they specify.
Yeah, we need to find out. But it doesn't matter
Oh,
because
no.
what is it, Emma?
Caledonia.
The Caledonian. Wait, my ship.
Right?
My ship made it back.
Right. Right then. That I said, do you think it was the unicorn or the Caledonia? So I out of the two.
That's my ship.
Hop off.
Me and my frat boys made it back. Yeah.
Emma,
You
which ship were you on?
probably died valiantly.
Actually, no, Emma, we came off the ship with wigs. And
Emma, you
Cole-
definitely ate a maggot chicken, let's be honest.
Bad.
Also, me and you, Emma, we fucking fucked there. We're so paranoid about like disease.
Wait,
Oh
what
my
about
God, yeah. I would die of anxiety. Like the only one to die of like my own fault.
like they come charging at you? You're like, I'm malaria.
Everyone's like, no, she doesn't. She just thinks she has
She
it.
Like,
doesn't
never
have
do
malaria.
So fuck yeah, my ship came back with fewer than 300 survivors, but my ship won. Let's just get that right. But
They
it gets
snipped it with
worse
withdrawal.
because guys, the first expedition was they came back. No one really came back. Only 300 people came back, but there's no texting, there's no calling. So the second expedition doesn't know that it's
Oh.
fucked over there. So they have already headed out and they had no idea about the disaster of the first one. So
Why didn't they wait? Why didn't they wait for the first expedition to come back and
Well,
be
they
like, maybe bring weapons?
yeah, I guess they just thought like, oh, things are going well. So they went, they had no clue. So they arrive in August 1699 and they find the colony completely abandoned. It's just a ghost town, probably with rotting corpses. Imagine spending months to prepare for this potentially life-changing adventure. You arrive, no one's there. It's a ghost town. Nothing is prepared for you. You probably didn't even bring even enough supplies because you're like, oh, they got it. Like, oh my God. So these hardy Scots were like, well, we're here now. Might as well make it work. So they rebuilt everything. Surprise, surprise, same problems, disease, starvation. Now, complete social breakdown because people are dying left and right. The Spanish got fed up and launched a full-on military attack against these poor Scottish people. And so they don't have much to defend themselves. But guess what? They did win one battle.
Oh,
One battle they won.
good for them.
But that only pissed off the Spanish more. So they surrounded the fort with a proper blockade. And they were already being blockaded by like nature and England. Now the Spaniards are blockading. So after a month of siege, the Scots surrendered in March 1700. The Spanish were actually pretty merciful and low-key felt bad for them and were like, God damn. So they let this
What a
survivor.
nightmare.
Yeah, they were like, actually, we feel bad for attacking you. All you have is moldy maggot bread.
Ew.
And
So
you're
they-
like all sunburned and red. So.
yeah.
right?
Oh my God. The Scots. I'm sure they were so sunburnt. So they let the survivors leave with their belongings. They actually didn't kill them all. But again, more died on the way home. By the end of it all, 71% of everyone who went to the Darien Passage had died.
God.
71%. So
Wow.
Scotland was absolutely devastated financially and emotionally. They lost over half of their initial investment, which was again 20% of all the money the country had. Everyone and their mom had donated to this. Even the tiny Highland town scrammed up money for this. This was not just about money, but their pride. Now the nation is truly bankrupt. Enter England, who was watching all of this shit go down and was like, hey, we're not going to do it. I told you so moment. We're not going to, because we can have a proposition for you. So Queen Anne and the government were like, hey, Scotland, we know you're broke. Your pride's shattered, but we're fighting this war against Spain and France. We need manpower. How about we make a deal? Enter the Act of Union in 1707. England would bail out the Scottish investors, just the investors, paying them around £400,000, conveniently almost exactly what they lost. But in return, Scotland would give up its independence to become part of Great Britain. The Scottish Parliament would be dissolved, and now they would be all ruled from London. Many, many, many Scots, so many Scots were furious about this. For context, Scotland and England had been in conflict on and off for nearly 1,000 years. And for all this to unravel due to some idiot startup investors who brought wigs instead of water into the Darien Passage, all the works of the rebels of William Wallace, Robert the Bruce, all of this was fucking undone by this act to colonize. They felt like their leaders had stole their independence for English gold. They pretty much are sellouts. To this day, the Darien Peninsula is still largely uninhabited. There is no roads connecting North and South America through that area because how hostile it is to human life. Even with modern technology, we basically avoid the place. These poor Scottish colonists never stood a chance. So basically, Scotland's one and only attempt to colonization was such an epic disaster. It literally ended their independence as a nation. And it's like the whole thing is a perfect example of like why you should not join an MLM and colonize, let's be for real. But also, poor Scotland learned the hard way that colonialism isn't as easy as the English make it look, and that tropical paradise locations are usually tropical for a reason, deadly reasons. And that's how Scotland accidentally colonized itself right out of independence. And now that is why there's something called the UK.
God.
Isn't that fucking wild?
It's depressing.
Yeah. That is so infuriating that like a couple of rich men got their money back, and now they sold the independence of their entire country. Scotland is now married to England to this day.
Yeah.
And honestly can't get out of it. I was doing a little bit of research. Like I know Scotland had a vote a couple years ago and they voted no. And
yeah, I was gonna say that like I had a lot of friends who were really like very like serious about Scottish independence. Like they were really for it.
yeah, there's a couple of things that are keeping them tied to England. First of all, when England was part of Europe, it was okay because like they could still trade with Europe. When England did Brexit, it only inflamed the Scottish independence more because they're like, well, what the fuck? But if Scotland leaves England, that doesn't necessarily mean they'll get back in with the EU, which means they won't be trading with England or the EU. It's a really high risk for them to leave. Yeah. And if they leave, most of Scotland's trade is with the UK, is with England. So if they leave, they'll have to have all these tariffs on all the trades. Like economically, it could devastate them.
Yeah, I feel like that's like that was the biggest kind of thing is like it just is it's too risky and it like culturally people want it, but it doesn't work at the moment. Like
I don't know how unless like they can secure a contract with EU and be like, listen, if we leave England, can we do trade with y'all? Like that's the only reason I think it would work. But if they can't secure that, then they would be like actually so alone in this.
Yeah.
Yeah. And also England's still fucking them. Oil was discovered in the North Sea in the late 1960s, just off the coast of Scotland. Almost all of the profits and taxes from the North Sea oil went to the UK Treasury. And Scotland, as a part of the UK, did not receive a direct share of those revenues. They are still being screwed over by England. But if they leave, they're screwed too. So these investors in the 1690s, they fucked over their nation for years to come. It's messed up.
It's really sad.
Yeah. But I never knew why Scotland was part of the UK, but now I do, I guess.
Yeah, when I think about it, I never actually I knew that to some extent it was like just like somewhat overpowered by England, but I didn't realize like
they did it to themselves after all of that.
I mean, not really. I guess they were like it was like it was that they gave into the sales pitch. They saw where England was getting all of their wealth and then thought that would be the way to go. Actually, this was like a similar story with Belgium. They had like, oh my God, it's so bad that I forget what country it was, but they were like, basically wanted like to get in and like Africa slave trade and colonizations, and they established like one of the most like fucked up, brutal like slave trades. I cannot remember what country they went into. But it was just like, yeah, everybody like people who were successful in colonization, like
They colonized Congo.
yeah, the Congo, yeah.
Yeah. I
It's
just,
just
I mean,
terrible. It's like the evil. It makes you realize how evil it is when you don't have all the power stacked behind you to make it look like it's something chill and easy.
what's crazy is that Scotland didn't even get to colonize it. Like they landed there and died. They didn't even get
Yeah.
a chance.
The Caledonia survived.
The Caledonia, my ship survived.
I bet everybody on that boat just was like, fuck this.
That was
I'm a little sad that they're like basically their mascot, that ship got destroyed.
You're so that's
it's
so
like,
sad.
We're the unicorn, like this is us. And it's like,
It's just it's this
but
story,
guys, we all knew the dolphin was gonna die. So
it blows my mind. It blows my I do think it does come down. Well, they were screwed in the first place. No one can colonize. No one can even live there. So they were screwed in the first place. They didn't set themselves up for success. But I think in the end, it's the investors' issues. When the Queen Anne came to them with that proposition, that it should have been like, fuck no. Because, okay, in the moment, you get cash, but now you're selling your whole country to someone who's going to forever rule it. And it's not like they invested that money back into the country. It's just the investors got their money back. So a few selfish men have ruined the future of Scotland.
all the people that put the money up too, none of them got their money back.
They only got 400 euros back. So it says like the investors got paid back. So I don't know about these small towns. I don't know if they poured it back into the country, but they sold the country for it. So
Yeah.
screw Patterson and his
Are they,
cool
do you
friends.
think they would ever be able to get out and be their own nation again? Or is
Well,
it
that's
just
what I'm saying.
so far
They do.
down?
They haven't allowed another vote in a long time. I think they do want another vote, but it comes down to like economics. That's what happened to Haiti. Haiti said, fuck you, France. And now, well, there's a whole more things with that, a lot more things with that, but now they're economically screwed. So it's like, you can get your freedom, but I think you should prepare to know that you will be economically screwed. I think if they can partner with the EU, they should do it.
Yeah.
But if you can't, stick with it till you can. Because now with Brexit, it makes things very difficult.
True.
So that is the Darien Scheme and why Scotland is part of the UK. And what do y'all think?
Kind of depressing, but it's like
Yeah.
it's happened a million times in history. Fucked up how many
Yeah.
different versions of it there are.
Yeah, I definitely think y'all should look into the Darien Passage and actually watch stuff on it because you actually get to see what
looked
I'm
it
talking
up.
about.
Yeah, I was looking at
really
photos of it and it just looks so like intense.
It looks pretty though in some
No.
senses. Like it is kind of nice.
Julia,
It
you would go on those ships.
But
wouldn't
you would be on the fucking boat.
No, I'm I'm saying it's pretty. Not that I would want to be near the snake and malaria and all that. I'm saying from a picture standpoint, I'm like, that's nice. It kind of reminds me of Emperor's New Groove when he's like crying in the forest.
Oh my god, look at this swamp.
How we conclude this whole episode. This kind of reminds me of Emperor's New Groove.
What does do you know the scene I'm talking about where he's like crying in the forest and like everything's attacking him and he's in this like jungle and it's all going wrong and he's a llama?
That's what happened to the Scots. Pretty
They
much.
turned into a llama and everything went wrong.
Well, yeah. I would recommend everyone looking into it because it's very, oh my God. It just looks like the last place I'd want to ever go. And people cross it daily just to try to get to a better life. That's how much they have to, yeah. So,
Like Harrison would do one of these.
whoa, it's not a marathon. Like people
I know
are
it's not a
dying.
clickbait thing, but I'm telling you, he would be like, looks like a fun hike.
Can you imagine like you're fighting for your life, trying to get to another country, and there's someone like marathon runner just like running through the
Yeah,
jungle?
like someone who's like climbed Mount Everest and is like, I can do anything.
Yeah,
I'm
he's like, isn't
"Come on,
this so
keep it up,
hard?
guys."
Yeah. I learned so much on this journey.
Yeah, he's like, I'm gonna have a podcast after this.
Yeah.
Don't do the Darien Passage, Harrison.
Jeff would do it as well. Jeff and Harrison.
Jeff and Harrison.
That's like a very dangerous part of the world.
Okay, yeah, No one,
Doesn't stop him from Jeff and him wanting to do it.
don't do it, Harrison.
I have to actually, funny enough, I have to go to a party after this, and this girl I know has just gotten her like UK passport, and she wants everyone to dress up as something related to the UK. And I was with her last night, and she was like, "Look what I'm wearing tomorrow. What are you wearing?" She's wearing a sequin dress that has the UK flag on it, and I was like, "Oh my God, I will think about that and get back to you." And I have to leave like pretty much right after this call.
Okay.
I don't know. I have nothing. I am nothing.
Just like bring a flag.
I don't have a flag. Why the fuck would I have a flag in the house?
So, Emma, you should dress up as the dude who owned the London bank. Just dress up as a
Bank of England? I don't want to dress up as the Bank of England.
Please do.
Please do. It would be very fun.
Please be William Patterson.
I actually have like no idea. Like no idea.
I mean, just put on a suit and say you're a London businessman. Like
no, and like someone else is dressing up as Mr. Bean, and I was like, if I had a magnifying glass, I have like a trench coat, and I could be Sherlock Holmes. I don't have one.
Literally just put a scar on your head and be Harry Potter.
Oh, that's good. Fuck,
You don't have glasses though.
Oh my God, no, I don't.
Put a Sharpie lightning bolt on your head.
Well, I wouldn't do Sharpie.
I do not want to put a Sharpie lightning bolt in my head for the next week.
Marie, she has to go to work. She's not going to.
What the fuck do I do?
Put tape on your head and then draw it with Sharpie. So at least it doesn't like fall. I
was just gonna wear like a Pink Floyd t-shirt and be like, to celebrate the rock bands of the country.
There you go.
Get what? I mean, I'm just not a dressing up type of person.
Yeah, me either. I'm honestly happy to go there and be like, you know what? I've never been good at this. It's not my thing. Enjoy.
You're either in this world, you are either the person who dress up or doesn't. Like you can't half-ass it.
Yeah, I don't like people who love themed parties. Like I don't want to attend because then it becomes this whole thing where they just want to like take photos and like I'm like.
You're there with your fucking Sharpie ass scar.
Telling me about like the food that they're bringing. I was way more excited about that.
Like this is why I hate Halloween, because everyone's like, "What are you doing?" I plan my outfit 3 months in advance. I'm like, I'm probably gonna find something in my closet that works.
Like, yeah, I can't
dress that. Why I don't care about.
I have never pulled off a costume.
No,
I don't know.
Me either.
I just don't know how to do it.
Yeah. Usually I just dress like a whore and I'm like, I'm a prostitute. No, I'm not kidding. I've done that so many times. Oh, I also thought it'd be super smart to be Tony Soprano because he just wears boxers and has a fucking robe.
Yeah,
that's what am I wearing right now? I actually don't. Yeah, I literally don't know what to do. Like, oh, look, there we go.
Oh, she found
something British. It's like a full costume.
Oh, look, there we go.
Look. Oh, that's just an egg carton?
An egg carton.
Emma.
How's the UK flag? Tesco.
Okay, what are you gonna do with that?
She's just gonna hold it. She's gonna be like, I'm British citizen.
I have no idea.
Tape that egg carton to your shirt.
Like I also like didn't even remember that it was themed until last night. And like now I feel like she expects me to wear something because she was like, "What are you wearing to my party?" And I was like,
"Oh, like a full sequin flag."
So extra. And you can just say I didn't have anything planned and I was going to, but then I realized I had prior plans before this and my whole life's falling apart. And
or just tell him you were just on a Scottish episode and you don't support England. Good luck, Emma.
Good luck.